Geshe Langri Thangpa. Langri Monastery. There is a monastery actually in Lhasa. It's Langri Thangpa's monastery. Kadamba masters. Kadamba masters. If we practice these mind training PT instructions, we will become a Kadam master student. Kadam students. Langri Thangpa said in the first verse, Langri Thangpa, thinking of all sentient beings is more precious than wish fulfilling jewel. I used to think about this verse a lot. Why like thinking all sentient beings more precious than wish fulfill? In Tibetan, wish fulfilling jewel is Yibjin Norba. But now, like, this is very important. I think we have to understand why all sentient beings are very precious, right? Many people think like all sentient beings, we even like, we don't have any connection to all sentient beings. Why are they precious than a wish fulfilling jewel? But we clearly know that without a bodhicitta mind, there is no way to attain enlightenment, right? That's just it's for sure Mahayana's point of view. Without bodhicitta mind, there's no way. There's no way to attain enlightenment. But then, in order to develop, in order to practice bodhicitta, we need to, in order to develop bodhicitta, in order to have a bodhicitta mind, we need to practice it, right? Otherwise, bodhicitta mind doesn't come so automatically when you get older. No, right? We have to practice it. We have to practice. And how do we practice bodhicitta? Without sentient beings, how could we practice bodhicitta? Sentient beings give us the opportunity to put these teachings, bodhicitta teaching, bodhicitta practice, bodhicitta meditation, these teachings into practice. So without sentient beings, we cannot engage in this practice. Like love, compassion, bodhicitta, equanimity. This is how we develop these teachings. This is how we develop our renunciation mind, right? Equanimity, love, compassion. And without sentient beings, there is no way to generate love and kindness and compassion. There is no way, without sentient beings, there is no way to take the Mahayana path. And without sentient beings, there is no way to attain any realizations, without depending on the sentient beings. So important, I think, if we think in detail like this, without even like without, we cannot even receive good rebirths. And happiness without sentient beings. Therefore, sentient beings are the foundation of our practice, according to Mahayana, Vajrayana. So my teacher Kajibama always say, like, every single happiness we ever experience comes to us through the kindness of sentient beings. It depends on them. So that's why, do you remember Shandandeva has said, in his the way of Bodhisattva, why don't we respect sentient beings in the same way we respect Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? Why don't we take care of sentient beings in the same way we take care of ourselves? Right? In his way of Bodhisattva. Means like whatever the benefit, whatever realization we receive from the Buddha, we receive the same benefit from all sentient beings. That's why, one way, we think of Buddhas very high there, sentient beings very low down there. But according to Shantadeva's this instruction, it's equal. Buddha and Bodhisattvas and sentient beings are equal. The sentient beings are the foundation of our practice. Foundation of Mahayana, take the Mahayana path. Foundation of attain enlightenment. So if we really understand how important it is to practice bodhicitta, then we also need to understand how important sentient beings are for us. So first really need to understand the value of bodhicitta, and then you understand how important practice bodhicitta, right? And then in order to practice bodhicitta, without sentient beings, we cannot. So therefore, in Buddhism, like nowhere in any of the Buddhist teachings does it say we should respect the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, but not sentient beings. Equally, we should respect. Equally, we should take care of ourselves, same as take care of all sentient beings. So when you take the Bodhisattva vow, if we give up one sentient being in our mind completely, if we feel anger or resentment to this person, what happened? Then we have abandoned the bodhicitta mind. We have to remember this. It's very dangerous. Like it's very dangerous, right? If you have one person, like you have an enemy, and you completely abandon this person in your mind, you have no bodhicitta. You have no bodhicitta. So that's why here we can see that what this Langri Thangpa's verse, thinking of all sentient beings is more precious than wish-fulfilling jewel. These teachings are not just like these teachers like Kadamba masters. They're so well known, like like scholars, Buddhists, very they understand Buddhist philosophy. That's why they just wrote this text. Not like that. This text from their experience. They practice bodhicitta so that they know in order to practice bodhicitta, sentient beings are so important. That's why he says, thinking all sentient beings are more precious than wish fulfilling jewel. So this verse talks about is the pith instruction in Mahayana practice that of benefiting sentient beings. So in short, without sentient beings, we have to understand, I think. Without sentient beings, no bodhicitta. Okay? Without bodhicitta, no enlightenment. How simple is that? It's very easy, right? Therefore, sentient beings are more precious than wish, fearful, and jewel. Do you understand now? All right. Okay. Once you understand, we'll go next. Verse 2. Consider myself as the lowest among all. The root text says, whenever I am in the company of others, may I regard myself as the lowest of all, and from the depths of my heart, cherish others as supreme. Quand the Sudan Rokpizi, Darni Kunli Mantashang, Jan la Samba Takpai, Chok de Jiberan Zumber shows. So this verse means wherever I am, wherever I am, in the company of others, may I regard myself as the lowest of all. Means I will humble myself and I will view myself as the lowest of all. Means I will think constantly of benefiting others. And by constantly holding others as superior to me and treating them with respect means here, like I will view myself as the lowest of all, means I will tame my pride and arrogance and hold others above me. That's that means. Otherwise, it's a little bit difficult, right, for you to understand. I will view myself as the lowest of all. Why is that, right? But means like most people like have this pride and arrogance, so that you look down others. So then you don't care others. So then you harm others. All this come from arrogance. So once you say like, I will view myself as the lowest of all, means I will hold others above me, means I respect equally myself, means like diminish my arrogance, my pride. Lama Tsongkhapa says that constantly residing above all, but also as a servant to sentient beings. As Dharma practitioners, we need to follow these examples, because if we have this attitude, then it automatically stops us from looking down on others. And that's why this verse is very powerful. At the same time, we have a doubt. It's like, may I regard myself as the lowest of all. Most people can't do that. But remembering, this, we have a good examples and their good qualities. We can generate a positive attitude of love and compassion to all we meet. Usually, as a human being, like no matter who we are with, we often think things like, I am better than him or her. We sort of generate much pride This is not good, right? Instead, we should always remain humble. So when we compare ourselves with animals, we look down animals. For instance, we might think, like I have a human body. I'm better than them. I have this intelligence. So we usually we feel like much higher than they are. So of course, from one point of view, we can say that we have human bodies and are practicing the teachings, and we are much better than animals. But from another, we can think that I think animals are very loving and very innocent. From this point of view, we have to say that sometimes we are worse than animals. So this verse mainly teaches us that we need to observe our mind and to make sure that it will not give in to feelings of arrogance or pride towards any other sentient beings. Do you understand that? So we say, in Tibet, sometimes we say the peak of arrogance cannot hold the spring water of the knowledge. Means like narjir means arrogance, because we never learn. If we are full of arrogance, like we are arrogant, then we never learn anything. If we think we are the best, right? Like I'm the best, then what do I need to learn from you? You can say some way I'm better than you, but another way you are better than me, right? So some way like human beings better than animals, but another way animals better than human beings. So this verse means a lowest among or among this verse means we should not we have to think about never develop feelings of arrogance, and then once we have arrogance, then we look down others, and then the problem is we don't care. That means then you can't practice genuine bodhicitta, because you can't learn anything because of arrogance. Therefore, we must be free of arrogance or pride, and that's why the Langri Thangpa decision constantly hold in our mind the aspiration to respect and benefit others. So I'll tell you a story of Dromtönpa. Like one time, Dromtönpa is another Kadamba master, right? Dromtönpa, you heard his name many times from even like me, right? Great master. Dromtönpa traveled to monastery, and on the way, he met a person who was too tired to carry his even like own shoes, and he didn't recognize Dromtönpa, of course. Because Dromtönpa was, he dressed very poorly, and so this person asked him, he didn't recognize Dromtönpa, and this person asked him, can you carry my shoes, And the Dromtönpa said, of course. And then Dromtönpa put them his shoulders, and like that, he was very humble, you know. And this bodhisattvas, like they are very happy when they hear something like they have an opportunity to help others. They were very, very happy. One time also, like Bapta Rinpoche traveled in Tibet, and he met a lay person, and this person told him that this person told Bapta Rinpoche, like you look like very humble person. And then they sit down and they talked a little bit about, their Dharma practice to each other. Then this person asked Pablo Rinpoche, have you received the words of my perfect teacher by Pablo Rinpoche? And the Pablo Rinpoche said, no, I don't, I haven't. I haven't. And then this man said, I can read you if you want. And then Pablo Rinpoche said, yes, please, I want it. And then he listened. Pablo Rinpoche, he read the word of my perfect teaching. Pablo Rinpoche listened to the whole text from this, just lay person. And then at the end of their meeting, Pablo Rinpoche told him, I am Pablo Rinpoche. The person was like so embarrassed, oh my goodness, oh, why do you do this to me? Why I create such a bad karma? And Pablo Rinpoche said, to him, no, you have a great motivation, and that's why I listened to the whole text from you. You are not making any bad karma. You are making actually great karma with me. So like that, people, this kind of like bodhisattvas, they don't know. Actually, most people don't know, because they dress very purely, so what I'm saying is, these great masters had of course, a wealth of attainment inside. um, they are 100% bodhisattvas, but outside they were very like ordinary. They did not even wear this lama, fancy lama clothes, which means they did not want to show others that they were something special. So then many times we have amazing and funny stories of Pablo Rinpoche, and he travels all the time, like monasteries, come area, and people didn't know it. And then this kind of story we have a lot of, because Pablo Rinpoche didn't want to know other people who are. So these people are very humble, so they always practice mind training. So that's why, George, Pada Adisha, throughout his life, give 3 great pity instructions for teaching, for training mind. He said, first, examine the mind constantly, because you need really pure motivation, whatever you do, whatever you think, so therefore this is the most important. First, you have to examine your mind constantly, what you are thinking, what you are doing. Is this according to the Dharma or my practice, like that? And then second, he said, tame the mind with mindfulness. You have to tame your mind. Otherwise, once you do something and your motivation is selfish, then you have to tame your mind. Oh, this is not correct. So you have to change. So tame the mind and with your mindfulness. And then third, by constantly doing so, generate bodhicitta in the mind stream. So Kadamba masters really put these teachings into their practice. That's why they became such a great masters and bodhisattvas, bodhisattvas. So that's why mind training teaching, it's amazing. So that's do you understand that second verse? The meaning of the second verse is we need to be very humble, respect everybody, even like animals, respect everything, environment, people, beings, animals, everything. We should think like they are we should hold them above us. That means. So it means like don't develop arrogance. That's the verse. The essence of the meaning of this second verse is don't develop arrogance. Respect everybody. That means. And then verse 3, avert afflictions as soon as they arise. Okay, this is very important. The root text says in every action I will watch my mind, and the moment destructive emotions arise, I will confront and avert them strongly, as they will destroy both myself and others. Jolam Gandara Jala Tojanyu Moji Mata Yanda Maron Shebe Natantadoni Dogoresho. This is the Tibetan. So this is again very important verse, but it's a little bit difficult. So our purpose of learn the Dharma and doing sort of spiritual practice should be oriented towards enlightenment and eliminating mental and this emotional afflictions. So this verse means the question is what kind of antidote should we use for this purpose, like emotional afflictions, mental afflictions, like that. Here, the answer is Geshe Langri Thangpa's pithy instruction is to observe and examine our mind in all kinds of activities, such as whatever, like sitting, walking, whatever, we need to examine ourselves. And means like don't really examine others all the time. Examine ourselves. Because usually like we look out so much to find the faults of others and pay so little attention to our own faults, right? And we don't want to do that. But if we investigate our mind, at times when we are very selfish, we will find that the disturbing sort of negative mind is the root of this behavior. So when this means when destructive emotions are bad thoughts, when we have like bad thoughts, selfish, right? Selfishness, bad thoughts arise, we need to abandon them immediately. That's the verse means, we should apply, some antidote to the right away. That is what this verse is talking about. For example, we must blow out a fire when it's small, it's very small. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to smother the fire when it's too, strong, right? So in the 37 practice of Bodhisattva, he said that when emotions become habitual, they are hard to get rid of with antidotes. Therefore, with mindfulness, to seize the weapon of the antidote and crush attachment and other negative emotions the moment they arise is the practice of bodhisattva. Okay? I think this is very important. This is this because we have to keep in mind, we can destroy negativities such as anger, attachment, and so forth as soon as they arise. Otherwise, it would be very hard. Otherwise, instead of anger is enough to destroy the merits that we have accumulated and to destroy both ourselves and others, right? So therefore, this, I think we have to, in order to do that, we have to examine, we have to be aware, mindfulness, very important. That's why examine ourselves, not others, examine ourselves. And once we see we have these bad thoughts, we have to destroy and to remember the antidotes right away. Then easy to sort of subdue, so we should examine our mind from time to time, and that's this verse said, avert our own negative thoughts right away. So I think that's very important. Fortunately, we all practice, like mind training. So we know how to take care of negative and bad thoughts. Means right away we have to remember and antidotes and the instructions right away. Whenever, these Kadamba masters, whenever, this great masters give rise to bad thoughts, they would stop eating, they would stop drinking, and they would scold themselves, and even sometimes they beat themselves like this. Wow, I have bad thoughts, you know. One time there was a Kadamba master. He didn't have anything to eat, and somebody's bag. There is a tsamba, little bit tsamba, and he tried to kind of steal the tsamba, and he pushed his hand in the bag, and he suddenly remembered his behavior, oh, this is not correct. And then he didn't take out his hands from the bag, and he said, then, hey, what am I doing? You see, I'm doing these bad things, tell others, these kind of masters always examine what their activities and all of that. Sometimes they really beat themselves, when they have, bad thoughts. So, so that's why, in order to, subdue mental afflictions, so, this pith instruction is extremely profound. Okay, so for instance, when we get angry, and then we have to remember right away, and then easy to control. But once our anger is so strong and huge, then it's very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Be patient. So, but when it's very small, then is easy to control. So, so that's why, as Mahayana practitioners, we should rely on these pity instructions. Means, as I said, you receive this many, many times, these teachings. But the thing is, I'm not sure how much you keep in your mind. That's why sometimes it's very helpful if you memorize the root text, then you remember easily. Otherwise, so many teachings, right? So difficult to remember when you need them. So therefore, we have to keep in these pity instructions and constantly remember them and think about them and constantly observe they call three doors of body, speech, and mind, right? So this verse means in every action, in every speech and behavior of uh, my everyday life, I will examine my mind as soon as mental and emotional these afflictions arise. I will discover and I will confront them right away, and avert them without sort of delay. So we have to make a commitment, right? Again, commitment. This is commitment. So is like Mahayana practitioner, this lojong practitioners, when the afflictions like attachment, anger, they arise, you have to uh, confront them and you have to like avert them, try to diminish them, right? And then Vajrayana means like when you recognize like nature mind, then you have to a little bit different way to like transform it into your wisdom. What is the essence of anger? It's your one of the five wisdom. So you just recognize its nature, then your anger is no longer there. If you're not there, if you are like Mahayana practitioner, this lobjong practitioner, then right away you have to, this verse said, confront them and avert them right away, right away. So, but the result is same. So we have to make a commitment because as an ordinary beings, everyone has mental and emotional afflictions, right? But they can be eliminated completely through this kind of pity instructions, this kind of certain meditations. So we have these thoughts, we have these negative afflictions, but we can control them through the pity instructions. Uh, that's why, the more you practice, the more you remember the kindness of gurus, because this pity instruction is amazing. Without these gurus, teachers, we don't have this opportunity. We don't have this antidote, amazing pity instructions. Pity instructions, not just a teaching. Pity instruction means like somebody tells us these instructions from their experience. Oh, when I have these afflictions, I meditate on this, and then now it's gone. Like that kind of, that is pity instruction. So therefore, we are very fortunate, I think, very, very fortunate. So that is the verse 3. And then verse 4, may I cherish this precious treasure. The root text, whenever I see beings who are weak in nature or those overwhelmed by negativities and suffering, I will cherish them as something real, as though I had found a precious treasure. Oh, Ramjin Ngambi Simchin Nam Digduk Takpu Non Tonse Rinchen Tirdan Tabaijin Nipurkavi Chinzin Show. So this verse means uh like as we know, there is a great number of beings who have a negative and unpleasant character, and who are accumulating bad karma all the time. If we run into somebody who is by nature very like unpleasant, very nasty, then our usual reaction, our reaction is to avoid this person, right? This person, or I don't want to close to this person. But according to this verse, this instruction, I think we need to see this difficult person as a special object of love and compassion. It's very difficult though, but we can do it. We can do it. We should Kadamba, His Holiness Kanchen Jigme always say, you should, when this kind of people, when you meet this kind of people, you should make an aspiration, like when I, as a practitioner, meet such beings, may I consider them as a precious, as a real treasure, so that they may become a special object of the patient's practice. So without this kind of negative people, we can't practice patience, right? We can't practice patience because practice patience. Zotpa means like tolerant, patient. When you have difficult meet this kind of circumstance, you have to be patient. So if Mahayana practitioners has fully developed such merit, attain enlightenment in a single lifetime is possible if we practice these instructions. So this means like whenever I see beings who are weak in nature, this means like sometimes this negative, unpleasant people, when we, see or we have a connection or relationship, we should see in Tibetan means like I had found a priceless treasure. This is very good for me. This is like good for my practice, my patient. Because this all the time happen, right? When you go to work and people are very unpleasant. Sometimes people blame you. Sometimes you do something like nice to them, but still they don't recognize. Always blame. Like that time you need to remember this verse. Okay, and now that's all I have for teaching for this person. Now we should meditate again, and we're going to, I think we're going to meditate on the last verse. Remember, in my every action, I will watch my mind, this verse. And the moment destructive emotions arise, I will confront and avert them strongly, as they will destroy both myself and others. This one, we're going to meditate on this verse, okay? This meditation is recognize your thoughts. Sometimes we have good thoughts, sometimes we have bad thoughts. Doesn't matter. We have to recognize your thoughts and let them go. So it is a mindfulness and awareness meditation, kind of. As you stabilize your concentration, you will also be aware of your thoughts and these distractions. So recognize the situation and let it go. That is the essence of this practice. Recognize the situation, whatever situation, and then let it go. That is your concentration. So means like don't grasp and don't sort of reject your thoughts. Just leave them alone and then let them come and go. And don't focus too tightly and don't focus too loosely, just to stay with the relaxation. And just don't hurry, means like, oh, I have these thoughts right now. So what is the next thoughts, How can I control this? That means like you are very hurry, So don't be very hurry. Remain like very relaxed, then thoughts are really like cloud. They just come and go. So if you just to let them come and go, then your mind be very relaxed, and so that's how you do it. That's how you let your mind rest in like more peaceful state. And uh, you just let it be, for example, when you discover like a beautiful flower in the jungle, when go outside and you see it. You sometimes you see very beautiful flowers. Sometimes you see very ugly whatever, and then but what you do is you just leave them alone, right? And then let the, just you don't pick them. You don't pick them up, and you don't destroy it. Leave it as it is. So that's similar. Your thoughts, you have sometimes good thoughts, beautiful thoughts, bad thoughts, but just don't pick. Don't react. Just your aim of concentration is to create sort of longer time of your awareness. That's all. So you don't too much focus on your thoughts, rather than like awareness. Awareness very, very important. So I always say that what is important is not how long um, uh, you focus on your meditation, your concentration, but how soon you return to it from your thoughts. That's Dharma practitioners always pay attention. So recognize your thoughts and let them go. Meditate on that, okay, for a few minutes. So sometimes you just relax, and then you will see your thoughts arise like automatically, right? So then you recognize your thoughts, and then as soon as you recognize it, probably they're gone, they're dissolved, right? That's this verse means. Right away, confront and avert means like recognize your thoughts. Usually we follow our thoughts. Sometimes we sleep and we have lots of thoughts, and we can't just sleep. That happens because we are thinking these thoughts one after another. So, but Dharma practitioners, they have a lot of thoughts. That's fine. They have good thoughts, they have bad thoughts. But the thing is, different is like they don't follow. They try not follow their thoughts. So just recognize and then focus on awareness. Okay? That is the concentration, the meditation. Okay, so we do this for a few minutes. Then you see it. Sometimes you have lots of thoughts. Sometimes you have no thoughts. This space. And you stay there as long as you can. And then your thoughts arise. Let it go. Do that over and over many times. Very good. Mind training teachings are actually for these are like informal meditation, post meditation, most time. You don't have to sit and meditate on your cushion. The most important, your activity when you have no, these are very important. Keep in mind, like whatever you do, whatever you say, mind this lojong teachings for that informal meditation, that's they call it. When you say, one time Buddha met a poor person, very poor person, and then he asked Buddha, why am I like this kind of situation? I have nothing. I'm very poor. Buddha said, well, you don't practice generosity, that's why. And then this person say, I don't have anything to give, I have nothing. The Buddha said, practice generous doesn't necessarily only mean like to give. You can smile when you meet people. You can say very nice words to others. You can keep in like inspiration, like prayers in your mind. All of that generosity practice. And then this poor person say, oh, I didn't know that. I can do those. Buddha kind of amazed. Really? You can do that? That's the best. That's mind training. So it's very important when you meet people and try to say nice things, smile, all of that kind of. So this mind training teachings give us like become a good human being. That's all. Good human being means like we need discipline. When we meditate, everything is fine, everything is good. But when we are outside, and when we have especially a little bit difficult situation, it's really hard. At that point, we have to remember mind training teaching, informal meditation. I think that's actually more important than sit-in meditation. All right, now closing prayers, and then have lunch. May I attain in each and every life the sublime virtues of existence in peace. May I pursue the fatherless mind's truism, working for the welfare of others when skill. Through this very merit of mine, may every single sentient beings eliminate all forms of negativity, practice virtues forevermore. May Supreme Precious Bodhicitta take birth where it has not a reason. There is a reason it never win, but continue to grow forevermore.
For its sake exists, for as long as beings endure. Until then may I
to remain, to dispel the suffering of all beings. May I, in all my lives, no matter where I'm born, obtain the 7 qualities of the abundance of existence. May I meet the Dharma immediately after taking birth,
and have the
then
freedom to practice perfectly.
may I please the Sovereign Guru, and then linking myself to the Dharma by realizing Dharma, practicing its innermost essence. May I cross the ocean of conditioned existence in this very life. May I teach the sublime Dharma perfectly, never become weary and tired of many others in samsara. By all my virtue and all encompassing activities to benefit others, may all attain enlightenment together. All right, thank you very much.